Tailwind CSS has become a must-have skill for the front-end web developers. If you are someone who is already in the industry, or else if you are someone who is planning to enter the front-end web development industry, then Tailwind CSS is a must-have skill. So in this video, I will be demonstrating you how can you showcase your Tailwind CSS by deploying your projects. Hello everyone, I am Mithun and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be demonstrating you how you can deploy your Tailwind CSS projects. Deploy Tailwind CSS projects. Okay. I assume that you have built your web pages on HTML and using Tailwind CSS, and you are about to deploy your applications. What I will be doing is that I will be writing a simple HTML code, importing Tailwind CSS into my projects and just applying a simple style, and then I will be showing you how to deploy this project. The main intention of this video is not to train you in Tailwind CSS, it's to deploy the application. Okay, so before getting started, let's look at the pipeline. What pipeline should we be following? Okay, so the pipeline is very important because it gives you the understanding, clarity. If you are someone who is about to give some interviews, you can explain these pipelines and it will be of lot more impact because you actually know what steps have been followed. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is that write some HTML code and import Tailwind CSS and have some code in Tailwind CSS, apply some stylings of Tailwind CSS. Okay, so we will be writing some code, and what we'll be doing is that we'll be getting a web page, we'll be testing that in our local web page. Okay, next what we'll be doing is that we'll be shipping our code to GitHub. Okay, we'll be shipping our code to GitHub. Why GitHub? GitHub is a place where we store our files on the web, and then there is lot more opportunities open there, features available there. Okay, just assume this. Okay, next what we'll be doing is that we need to deploy. We'll be going to platforms. So I'll be demonstrating all three platforms in the same video. So the first one being GitHub Pages. Okay, so the next one being Netlify. Okay, and next one being Vercel. These are the three platforms which we'll be deploying, and these three platforms in turn will give us a URL, and this URL will be redirecting us to the web page. So this is the complete pipeline which any project follows when it comes to deploying into these platforms. Okay, so without any further delay, let's get started. So the first thing is writing some code. I'll be opening my VS Code. Okay, I have created a separate folder and I will be writing index.html, creating my index.html file, getting the boilerplate code, and I will be writing Tailwind CSS deployment. Okay, and then the first thing what I must do is, okay, let me write some code first. Okay, I will be writing h1 and I am telling I am happy to deploy my first Tailwind CSS web app. Okay, so this is the title, this is the heading, and now let me import Tailwind CSS. To import Tailwind CSS, I will be going to tailwindcss.com. Okay, I will be showing the most easiest way. Get started, and what I'll be doing is that I'll be copying just the CDN link. Okay, so this one tag, and I'll be pasting this in head. If you want in-depth explanation of what I am doing, what's happening, you must be having some knowledge on Tailwind CSS. Okay, and then I will be applying class text red 600. Okay, and let me run this with live server and test if my web page is working properly in my local system or not. Yes, now if you see, if I zoom this a bit, let me zoom this a bit. So this is what is our web page. I'm happy to deploy my first Tailwind CSS web app. So this is not restricted for only this thing. If you have some complex sites also, the process is the same. Okay, now let's start. The first thing in our pipeline was, let's check mark some of the things. We have written some code, we have tested our web page. Now the thing is we must ship it to GitHub. Okay, how to ship that to GitHub? So the first thing what you must do is that create a repository. Okay, go to github.com. I assume you have an account in GitHub. Okay, create a repository and tell deployment Tailwind _CSS. Okay, I will keep it private because I don't want anyone to see this web page. Okay, I will create this repository. Okay, now it's time we initiate Git. And one more thing, you must be having Git installed too. Okay, the first thing, git init and git add. We'll be adding all the files before we are telling them pack up. Okay, that's it. and git commit. Okay, -m telling deployment, and next I will tell I must add this file. Okay, I will just copy this, git remote add origin. Okay, and I will tell git push -u origin master. Okay, that's it. Okay, now our files have been shipped to GitHub. Don't believe me? Just hit the refresh. That's it. Okay, we have index.html. Okay, so for now in our pipeline we completed this step 2. Now let's focus on GitHub Pages. How can I deploy to GitHub Pages? Okay, how to deploy? Just go to settings. Here you have pages and select the branch. The step remains the same for everything except for authorizing GitHub. That's it. Okay, and click on save. As soon as you hit on save, some people get confused whether my page is deploying or not. Go to actions. Here all the actions would be shown. It tells that pages build and deployment is queued. Wait for a minute, it will be deployed. Okay, you know the trade. What would be the format? The format would be your GitHub username .github.io/the repository name. Okay, so it takes time. Okay, it takes about a minute. Okay, roughly about a minute it takes to deploy the applications on GitHub Pages. And next, if you move to Netlify, it takes half the time, and if we go to Vercel, it's less than 10 seconds, I could tell, because the first web page which was built on HTML and CSS, which we deployed, took only 3 seconds. Okay, so that's the pace which Vercel deploys. Okay, now this must be done. Okay, it's waiting, queued. Okay, let's see, it must be completed within a minute. Okay, and now once this is done, what we'll be getting? We'll be getting a URL. Study more about URL also. URL also is important concepts you must know, because you will be manipulating later. Okay, for that purposes at least you need this one. Now our web page is deployed. Where can I get the URL? Again, go to settings, go to pages. Here you have, just click on that. So this is your web page. I told you, right? This is my GitHub username .github.io/the repository name. That's it. This simple it is to deploy applications on GitHub Pages. Okay, so moving further, the next platform is Netlify. Okay, so this is the next platform. To deploy on Netlify, just visit their website. It's netlify.com. First thing is you must have their account, and if you don't have their account, just sign up or else just log in. Okay, and now this is the user interface dashboard. Click on add a new site, import an existing project, connect to a Git provider GitHub. It will be authorized. If not, permit it. Okay, and search for deployment. Okay, now we will get the repositories. We need deployment Tailwind CSS. Okay, everything must be same. Everything must be same. Just check the branch to deploy. That's it. Okay, and just click on deploy site. Okay, so the site deploy is in progress. We need to wait for half a minute here, because it takes time, like almost 30 seconds. It will be live soon comparative to GitHub Pages. Okay, now we have this. Now if you go to deploys, you can see it took 12 seconds. This is pretty much good. Okay, you can just click here and you have your web page ready. And here you get some random name and netlify.app. Okay, so these are some things you must observe. What is the URL, what is the deployment time, and what is the deployment platform. Using the link you must find out. If it has github.io, it was deployed on GitHub Pages. Netlify.app, it was deployed on Netlify. All these are free of cost. Okay, and next let's deploy on Vercel. Deployment on Vercel is very much easy. Same process. Visit vercel.com, login. If you don't have account, sign up. Okay, then click on add new project, and it segregates you, which is the most recent one. Import that. Okay, and just change the project name, because you cannot actually customize this. Okay, Mithun deployment. Okay, it must be unique. That's it. Okay, then deploy this. Okay, it roughly takes 2 to 3 seconds. That's it. Okay, let's wait for it and see this wonderful screen. Okay, now as soon as you deploy, you get this. Okay, and now you can just click on that and you have Mithun deployment.vercel.app. If it has vercel.app, then it was deployed on Vercel. Now let's talk about, now we deployed on the 3 platforms also. Now we know the deployment process. Now let's talk some things which you must be remembering. So the first thing is that whenever you think of deploying, the first thing must come is that optimized performance, and then obviously free of cost. Then choose for Vercel. And next is you must identify which site was deployed where. Netlify.app was on Netlify, Vercel.app was on Vercel, GitHub.io was in GitHub. And the core thing which you must learn before deployment, or else have some basic knowledge, is about Git and GitHub, because that's the bridge, okay, and that you must pay your attention on. Okay, I think now you are clear about the deployment onto these platforms. Okay, so in the next lecture I will be demonstrating you how to deploy these web pages using React framework. We'll be building an application, basic application on React, and we'll be deploying that. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I hope you had a great time watching this lecture. Do subscribe to the channel and like the video. Drop the comment if you want me to demonstrate any deployment of any framework or libraries, and I will surely do that. And that's it. I'll be catching you up in the next one. Thank you.